and the bangs. The lighter it is, the easier it is to secure it, and keep everything still. And then because we're not building with wood, I should say primarily, there are definitely
Yeah,
still things that we have that are wood, and those
sure.
we've considered heavily, and wood is the correct thing to use. But with the majority of our build framing and cabinetry being aluminum, we don't have the expansion and contraction issues.
Hmm.
Therefore, we don't have gap and tolerance issues. So we can keep everything nice and tight and nice and
Right.
secure and nice and quiet.
Nice. Oh my gosh, like I want one. So what what would you say, what are kind of the most important things that you've learned as you've gone with either one of your businesses?
Man, yeah, definitely don't compete on price. That is the hardest lesson that I've learned. And I've learned it, but I'm still paying for it, right? Because I've
Mm,
got to fix the debt issues, that I created from competing on price. And then I think learning how to hire based on, what we were just talking about.
yeah.
Um, there's a common phrase in entrepreneur or idea in entrepreneurship, that in the best case, right, you as the entrepreneur, as the founder, can hire people who specialize in areas and are better than you at
Yeah.
them. You put them
Yeah.
in place, you give them a direction, and then you get out of their way and let them
Yeah.
do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I tried to do that, knowing that that was kind of the optimum strategy.
Yeah.
What I missed, though, is that you got to pay a lot of money for those people. So
Ooh.
I tried to hire those people, but I didn't have the money to pay for that caliber. So
It's tough.
I got budget labor, but I got that kind of attitude that
Sure.
they were going to do that. And then we just started turning staff. So I never had a complete staff start and finish a build.
No
So I'd have
way.
one build crew start, we'd change one or a few people, and then other builders with other ideas would come in later and then either be complaining about what got done before, or right, just change the whole building technique because that's what they wanted to do. And it was just a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare.
Sounds like it.
So I've learned a lot, and I have a really good relationship with failure now. I actually love failure because we learned so much from it. So, as hard as those things were to do and to go through and all of those mistakes, man, I'm so much better for it. And we can make such better, stronger decisions now, given all of the mistakes that we've made.
Oh my gosh. That is so tough. Woo, I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills. I mean, as somebody who just opened a business that I knew literally nothing about, except I have a dog daycare, except that I
Mhm.
like dogs, I had to
Yeah.
go hire people that knew how to do it. And yeah, like it hasn't been easy. I got laid off about 3 weeks after we opened. So I spent the next
Oof.
10 weeks there. Yeah, that was exactly at the perfect time where I knew I was going to need to be cutting checks into the company. I mean, it
Yeah.
just all worked out for the best. I can safely say that now because instead of cutting checks in, I started consulting under the same corporation. I charge my clients from the same corporation, and then I just don't pay myself everything I got from that job, and I leave
Mhm.
it in to buffer kind of
Yeah.
offset the losses in the dog daycare. So I mean, I did figure out how to make it work in my favor, but because that happened, I was able to spend like the next 10 weeks there from open to close, learning every single thing, meeting every single
Yeah.
client. And so, you take those lemons and you make lemonade when you can. That's what I did. But yeah, no, it's tough.
Yeah,
And we're going to
for
be,
sure.
we obviously we have some debt. You have to finance the company with something. So
Yep.
we lent the corporation a lot of money and hopefully now that we're breaking even and we're on the trajectory to profitability, we'll get to start paying ourselves at some point. But I don't think we'll make our first dollar until we've been in business for probably like 2 years, maybe a little over 2 years,
Yeah.
when we're completely paid back from all of the money that we, lent in the business or left in the business.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time, but every business needs well, not every business, but every brick and mortar business where there's construction, like there has to be some seed money.
Yeah, so that was something that was a blind side a blind spot of mine because I had worked in services, which has zero overhead, other than, if I wanted to hire a contractor to help me fulfill something that I've already been paid for.
Right.
Um, yeah, brick and mortar product, physical product, not digital product. These are very different businesses with very different cash flows than what a lot of people do or start out in, which is
Yeah.
services.
Yeah.
Um, talking about money and cash flow and not competing on price, man, that's if you want to compete on price on a service business that's just you and it's just your hourly rate, like that's fine, that's up to you. But competing on price when so you've got rent and insurance and materials and
Employees,
staff,
insurance. Mhm.
utilities, man, it that stuff adds up quick.
Very, very fast.
It adds up quick. So that's why, like, I've got some debt now and we made our mistakes competing on price, but I have had big stress over it before. The numbers that we've got, though, for what we're doing and where I came from
Yeah,
make total sense.
that's
So I'm not
amazing.
stressing about it now. We fixed the cash problems. We're working on the
Good.
production problems or the pricing problems. We're working on the production problems. And now it's just a matter of time. So the profit that we've got coming in now is just going to debt service and stabilizing everything.
I understand 100%, man. I'm right there with you. I'm doing the opposite though. I'm pivoting to a digital. I'm pivoting away from
Great.
brick and mortar to digital, and and honestly, like I don't know if I would have even thought of it if I hadn't gotten laid off.
Yeah.
Because I'm consulting, and like you though, I have one, 40 to 50 hour a week client that I
Yeah.
serve right now, right?
It's
And they could
dangerous.
take me out at any time, which is why I'm working on pivoting. And honestly, it's a lot about what this is about. I know for sure that I started a business with no name recognition, with no outside funding, and I got it from zero to break even in 1 year. So I'm like,
Which is
well,
a major success.
like, shouldn't I take all the knowledge I've gained from working for CEOs and CFOs for the last 10 years, right? And help entrepreneurs and small business owners do what I just did. Or frankly, somebody who hates their corporate job and
Hmm.
has some money in the bank, like happy to show you how to start a business
Yeah.
on the side, right? Because time is going to pass anyway.
Hmm.
I mean, hopefully we'll keep growing at the same trajectory, and like in a year or two, the cash flow from the brick and mortar business will replace my former income. So if I don't want to work, I don't have to. But if I hadn't started a year and a half ago, there'd be no hopes of getting there in 2 years. So, like,
Yeah.
even if it does take 4 years, college takes 4 years, lots of things take 4 years. Raising a child takes 18 years. If you
Yeah.
hate your job, right, and you hate your career and you hate being a corporate drone, there's no reason you can't figure out how to do this too. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go for it and just help people.
Hell yeah. 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 Two things on that. What you just said about, lots of things take a long time. Um, what I've come to hold on to is, well, I mean, we could all talk about, right? If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? We all know that. Um, what I hold on to when things get tricky is life ebbs and flows. There is
Yes.
always going to be challenges. No one has a
Yes.
perfect life, no matter what you do. So you can just expect you're going to have the same levels of stress and
Mhm.
shitty things happen to you, no matter what path you take.
That's right.
And that's what I started realizing at the beginning of my corporate career.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why would I choose knowingly to
Mhm.
let all of my like down moments, all of my negative moments, suffering, whatever, be towards building someone else's dream?
Right.
Why not just make all of that suffering worth something, which is my dream?
That's right.
And
Choose
anytime I'm having
choose
a
your
hard
hard,
time
right?
here,
Choose
yeah,
your hard.
yeah, um, Yeah, anytime that I am like lamenting cash flow issues or the responsibility of the business, and I start thinking about going back and getting a corporate job, I'm like, I'm just trading problems for someone else's dream. So I'm just gonna stick working on mine.
Don't do it, man. There's so many of us that are, because what I call it the golden handcuffs, and right?
Totally.
Because right, you get used to making six figures and into six figures, and all of a sudden you're like, well, shit, like got these car notes, I got this house, I got these kids that are used to this lifestyle. We
Yeah.
can't go live in a van. Like, I wish I could go live in a van. Oh my God,
hmm
my life would be so much easier. But I had to figure out something else.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't matter how you get there as long as
No.
you eventually get there. Like, there's no wrong path, but
Right.
you gotta get on some path.
Yep. You got to do it. You got to put a stake in the ground and just head in that direction. And if you do it long enough, and you're truly passionate about it, right? You're not like trying to read data on Amazon sales to try and figure out which niche to get into. Like, forget that attitude. Do something that you care about because it's going to be hard. And like I said earlier, if you're going to give up on that work when it gets hard, it's not the right work for you. You got to do the thing that you want to wake up and get kicked in the face every single day, but still want to do it because you love it so
Exactly.
much. So the other thing I wanted to touch on what you said about sharing your knowledge, right? Doing all this stuff that you just learned from your corporate career and helping other people. It's exactly what I do with marketing now, right? I know that I don't want to run a marketing agency and I don't want to do marketing work for other people,
Yeah.
but I still love it.
Right.
I went to school for 6 years for it and built an agency around it because I love it. I just don't love doing that particular kind of work.
Yeah.
I like doing it for myself, for my company, but it's in a silo and it's very self-serving.
Right.
And I'm passionate about entrepreneurship as a whole and want to help other people do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yes, it's a job and, I charge for it, of course,